UFC Fight Night, Oliveira taking on Mario Bautista. We got to go in this weekend. This card sucks. This card is absolutely fucking horrendous. But we're here for every card. We're here to break down every card. You guys know the drill at this point. Let's get it going. First up, we have Priscilla Cachoeira versus Claudia Segula. I'm going to take Segula here. Priscilla Cachoeira is kind of just, her style is that brute, just walk forward and throw as much volume as possible. And it doesn't have to be very technical. It's just like throw a ton and hope something lands. In women's MMA, when you do have that style and you run into someone like Claudia Segula, who is more so oriented around the fact that she's going to try and like stay on the outside, try and actually use some sort of technique, even though it's not much. Being able to low kick on the outside, whether it be inside low kicks, outside low kicks, jabbing at range, staying with her back to the octagon. That whole style of just running forward and hucking hooks at you, it's not very, that doesn't tend to work unless you're like some freak athlete who can step on the inside and bang an overhand on a stance switch. Just doesn't happen very often, especially in women's MMA when people aren't going out cold all the time. So I'll take Claudia Segula here. I don't think that she's the best, but I do think that Priscilla Cachoeira is fucking horrid, and the style of run at you and throw hooks, it doesn't work when you're not a great athlete. In women's MMA or in men's MMA. I'll take Claudia Segula. I think she wins this one by decision. Next up, we have Muin Gafarov versus Jakub Vikwac. I'm going to take Vikwac here. From what I can tell, Muin Gafarov is just kind of oriented around the fact that he's going to try and throw as much power into every shot that he throws. It's kind of finish or bust for him, which a lot of times in the past, those styles of fighters I tend to go with. Not so much in this one because I see him slow down a lot. Vikwac in this, you can say, oh, he doesn't move his head off the center line. His striking defense isn't very good. So that kind of sets you up for a Muin Gafarov finish early. But Vikwac is, for one, he's tough. In the past, even in the fight against Patchy Mix, he took a few tough shots and he kind of just like walked through them, which inherently is kind of a bad thing because you're not defending yourself. If you can push through those kinds of shots and impose your will on the ground, defend yourself there, land nice shots at range when you are on the feet, that shows me something. Muin Gafarov isn't going to be able to land a big shot early, and that Vikwac will be able to, I think he'll be able to stick it out. I do think it is possible if we are in the third round that Vikwac gets a finish here, especially on the ground, because from what I can tell, Muin Gafarov, at least in a defensive position when he is on the ground, it's not the best. He's not helpless, but he's also not like completely there. I'll take Vikwac. I'm going to take him by decision, but submission in the third round is also there. I think a TKO is also there. Yeah, I'll take Vikwac. Next up, we have Wang Kong versus Eduardo Mora, or Wang Ton versus Eduardo Mora. I'm going to take Wang Kong. She's one of the few cases in women's MMA where she has actually a ton of weapons and she goes to pretty much all of them, and she doesn't stick to just one of them. She mixes up her weapons really well. She has a ton of them to go to, whether it's on the ground, on the feet. Whereas Eduardo Mora is more, she's kind of one-dimensional. It seems that she has this wrestling like base of hers, but everything is kind of just slow to me. It's slow, it's one-dimensional, it's 1 to 2 shots and then you go to blast a double leg, but there's no speed to it. There's nothing really educated behind the stuff that she throws. And the patterns there are, it's very obvious when she does start to get into a rhythm of just like throwing the right hand into a shot or just shooting a blind naked shot. Like, it's just kind of obvious. And when you're fighting someone that actually knows what they're doing, like Wonton, she's gonna pick up on that and find a read. I'm gonna take Wonton here. I'm not gonna take long on this either. I think she's gonna win pretty handedly. I think it happens TKO probably in the second or third round. I think it's only a matter of time before she picks up on some sort of read. And it's like Eduardo Mora has like one way to win, and Wonton can pretty much pick any of the tools she has to win. I'll take Wonton here. Up next, we have Jabid Basharat versus Gianni Vasquez. This fight just got changed. I have not watched much on Gianni Vasquez, so I'm going to go with Basharat here. He's a huge favorite. Gianni Vasquez has been in other promotions like the LFA, like Fury. He's been okay, but huge step up. Javid Basharat, obviously in his last fight that he got his head spun around by Ricky Simone? He's taken a full year off, which I love to see. When guys do get slept that bad, you need to take time off, and he did. So thank God. That seems to be absent nowadays from MMA, but he took time off. He has that kind of point style of fighting, so if he does win, it will probably be by that way of just sitting on the outside and picking his shots very selectively. I think that happens here. I haven't gotten to watch much film on Gianni Vasquez, so I'll take Basharat. I'll take him by dominant decision. I don't really think he's live for a finish, to be honest with you, but he's not really the finishing type. I'll take him by decision. Up next, we have Bruno Bazil versus Ketlin Souza. I believe Ketlin Souza is actually a favorite in this one, and I'm going to take Bruno Brazil. Ketlin Souza is another one of those fighters, like I mentioned earlier with Priscilla Cachoeira, where she's not very educated. It's kind of just run at you and throw hooks. It's not just hooks. Like, she mixes up her weapons on the feet, but there's no calculation to it. It's kind of like, it's not like feigning a few jabs and then pinging you once she gets into range and stepping back out, and then okay, let's work off of another feint. It's not like that. She's just kind of like, okay, now I'm gonna go. And when she goes, it's just like, whatever the she's thinking of at that moment. Like, there's no read, there's no, okay, let's blitz when she gets out of position. None of that. It's kind of, that's what I picked up on, especially in her last fight, which I believe was actually kind of close, and she ended up losing. And that was to Piero Rodriguez, who I don't really know if is very good. And Bruno Brazil fights with the Fighting Nerds, and she's actually pretty good, especially with her back to the octagon. This is basically another Priscilla Cachoeira versus Claudia Segula type of fight, where one of them is going to be on the back foot with their back to the cage, spamming low kicks, pinging at range with a jab, and the other one's just going to be trying to hunt them down with an overhand or swinging hooks in the pocket when they get there. And in that instance, I'm going to go with the person who's on the back foot, especially in women's MMA. Ketlin Souza doesn't really have much of a athletic advantage, which is what you would hope if that is the style of just running at you and throwing when you feel like it, I guess. I'll take Bruno Brazil. She's with the Fighting Nerds. Not the best resume for either of them, but the worry here is that Bruno Brazil doesn't throw enough, because that's been the problem in the past. You know, it is what it is. I'll take Bruno Brazil. I'll take her by decision as well. It's women's MMA, man. What do you expect? Up next, we have Nikolai Varetnikov versus Nico Price. Nico Price is actually not, like, from a technical standpoint, he's actually not terrible, but he's really dumb. He throws everything with a lot of power, and he has pretty decent finishing capabilities from what I can tell. Let me look at his resume right here. Yeah, I mean, he has 10 KOs out of his 16 wins, but he's so stupid. The Robbie Lawler fight. Like, why are you getting into the clinch with Robbie Lawler, knowing he's going to throw uppercuts at you, knowing you're not going to be defensively responsible, and you're going to just swing back? The Jacoby Smith fight, he didn't look completely terrible, but again, like, it's just kind of stupidity ruins his... I'm going to take Nikolai Varetnikov in that sense, even though Nikolai Varetnikov is terrible as well. Varetnikov swings, and he swings heavy. That's the only worry that you have with Nikolai Varetnikov. Knowing that Nico Price is stupid, Nico Price is probably gonna start exchanging in the pocket, thinking it's a good idea, and he's probably gonna get bombed with an overhand. That's probably how it's gonna go. Nico Price is only known for basically getting slept. Out of his however many last fights, he's lost like probably 80% of them. 5 of his last 6 fights, he's lost. He's fucking horrendous. And that's the worst part. He's not even horrendous. He's just dumb. I'm banking on the fact that he's going to do some stupid shit and get slept again. And that stupid shit is trying to swing in the pocket with Nikolai Varetnikov when the only thing that he has is an overhand. I'm not banking on the fact that Varetnikov is good. I'm banking on the fact that Nico Price is stupid. Alex Morono versus Daniil Donchenko. I'm not going to take long on this one. Donchenko's going to probably finish Morono in the first 2 rounds. I don't know how Alex Morono is still signed. Jesus Christ. I mean, the only 2 wins that Alex Morono has in the last almost 4 years is Tim Means. Oh my God. Is Tim Means, who's 41, and Court McGee, who I think retired and is also 41. What the fuck are we doing? I mean, this, I'm not even, do I need to break this down? Daniil Donchenko is like a calculated approach to the brute style. Like, he doesn't throw unless he knows he can land. And he does swing heavy, and he does overextend himself. But Alex Morono is a he's just like a fat dad. Like, the poor guy should not be in the UFC. Way too easily hit. Used to actually be able to like bounce around and have like some sort of a cardio advantage. That hasn't been the case for years. Donchenko is a young, hungry prospect who is calculated in the approach, and he's gonna put Morono out in the first half of the fight. I'm not gonna break this down anymore. Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker is up next. Julius Walker is not good, dude. If you can't put away Rafael Corquera, I don't know where you belong. Yeah, he is not. I mean, that alone is just not impressive to me. I love Dustin Jacoby, especially. I don't love Dustin Jacoby. I like Dustin Jacoby in this kind of a matchup where he's a slicker boxer, for one. He works off of a jab really well, with Julius Walker not being the best when it comes to at least going the distance. When he did against Alonzo Menafield, he slowed down. Against Rafael Corquera, he also slowed down. And in those instances, when guys slow down against Dustin Jacoby, if it goes 3 rounds, he works off of a jab really well, and his boxing is actually really solid. If it does go the distance, Jacoby's going to work off of a jab, probably break Julius Walker's nose, and that'll be it. It'll be a 30-27 because of the boxing advantage. If it's short, I'm banking on Dustin Jacoby because of the power advantage. He throws these kind of weird step in 1-2s where he really dips off, and it's hard to even really do anything other than like run into him because he crashes in at such a weird like angle, such a weird pace almost. If it ends early, that's the way it's going to end. It's off of one of those weird ducking 1-2s that Jacoby has, or maybe a check hook on the exit. Julius Walker doesn't have much finishing ability. I think he's too young. I think he doesn't have any of his tools really sharpened that well. He left a bad taste in my mouth when he couldn't finish Rafael Corquera, so taking Dustin Jacoby. I'll take him by first or second round TKO. Up next, we have Jean Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. Farid Basharat is actually really good, and I am going to take him in this one. Absolutely zero finishing ability from this guy, unless it is on the ground from what I can remember. Jean Matsumoto on the feet he's okay on offense, but defensively, he gets hit a lot, and he doesn't really have much of an idea of what to do when he is getting like blitzed, or even when he is getting picked apart. He doesn't really know how to close the void between the fighters. I thought he actually looked decent against Rob Font. I just don't think that he's very defensively responsible in the striking, and I think that he's just going to get picked apart at range, especially in that fight against Miles Johns. Like, Miles Johns is he's not technically sound really in any specific area. Like, he's well-rounded, but he's not like, he's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none type of a guy where you don't really know what it is that you're getting in any area because he's so mediocre in every area. And Matsumoto really made it too close for me. Whereas Farid Basharat has pretty much picked apart everyone they've thrown in front of him. And the last one being Chris Gutierrez, who is the type of guy that is kind of tricky to pick apart because he's running the whole time. I like Basharat here. And when it does go to the ground, I think that he has the advantage there. Undefeated in the UFC, I think he's going to be able to pretty much do whatever he wants with John Matsumoto for the entirety of the fight. We'll take the Basharat. Up next, we have Mikhail Oleksiejczuk versus Marc-Andre Barrio. I'm not going to spend much time on this one either. I'm going to take Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. The only saving grace really that Barrio has is the clinch. We saw that, I think, against it was Bruno Silva that he knocked out. When they're at range, when they're at boxing range, when they're at kicking range, there's not much for him. Like, there's not much, like, he doesn't throw, there's not very many weapons. He's not really timing up any feints, not making any reads. He's not picking up on tendencies. He's kind of just like going through the motions of it and hoping that at some point they crash in and get close so that he can work in the clinch. He's just, at that point, if you're fighting Mikhail, you're waiting to get hit by a overhand. You're waiting for it. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk has gotten a lot better since going to the Fighting Nerds. I've noticed that he moves around the cage a lot better. He's not so flat-footed. He's not fumbling over himself when he's trying to cut the cage off. Not overextending himself when he does throw and catching himself out of position. Like, his feet aren't, he's not like Jamal Hilling his feet over himself. That is obviously a really good thing. So I think he's going to get a TKO early here. I think he bombs an overhand at some point and probably puts Barrio on shaky legs and then TKOs him on the ground against the fence. So we'll take Oleksiejczuk. Up next, we have Jailton Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. I'm going to take Almeida. I mean, I don't understand how this fight is close in odds. I think Jailton Almeida runs through Kuniev, to be honest with you. Kuniev hasn't looked good since his steroid days. I think he's popped like multiple times from what I remember. I remember when he got signed to fight Curtis Blades, and I was like, how the is this even happening? Curtis Blades gets injured in the first round and still pretty handedly wins. Kuniev's takedown defense is like okay, but when you have like one of the 2 or 3 guys at heavyweight that actually knows how to chain wrestle, you're gonna get taken down if you don't have any sort of athletic advantage. And Rizvan Kuniev has no athletic advantage in this. He's gonna get taken down, and he's probably gonna get submitted in the first or second round. Yeah. He doesn't have steroids on his side anymore. Obviously, he's going to be fucking worse. I think just the simple fact that Jailton Almeida knows how to chain wrestle, knows how to get on your hips, knows how to turn the corner, knows how to get you down and hold top control actually really well, as boring as it is, it's so effective because these heavyweights don't know what they're doing. And Kuniev is one of those. He's one of the fat guys that has no idea what to do once he gets to the ground. He has an idea of how to defend himself when they're on the feet and keep away from the ground. Jailton Almeida has an athletic advantage. He has the wrestling advantage. He knows how to chain wrestle. He knows how to switch to a cable grip when he's on a single leg. He knows how to turn the corner. He knows how to get you down. He's going to get Kuniev down and he's going to dominate him on the ground. And it's going to be either really boring or he's going to get him out of there quick. I'll take Jailton Almeida here. I think he wins handedly. Up next, we have Amir Albazi versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I'm taking Kyoji Horiguchi. People who know me know that I don't fucking like Amir Albazi at all. I think he's so overrated. And I've been saying that for a long time. He shouldn't even be anywhere near where he is in the rankings in the first place. This is a lock in my eyes. I don't see how Amir Albazi is here. I don't understand it, dude. He hasn't fought in 2 years. I don't understand how he's ranked. He shouldn't have beat Kai Kara-France. The fight wasn't close. Kai beat the shit out of him. And then before that, it's like, okay, who did he beat? Alessandro Costa. Pretty sure he got KO'd last year. Francisco Figueiredo. I mean, didn't that guy get cut? I don't even think he's in the UFC anymore. Zhalgas Zumagulov. You fuckers know who that is? I guarantee you don't, because he hasn't fought in the UFC in 3 years. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? How is this guy in the rankings? He's the Colby Covington of flyweight. His wrestling is overrated. Kyoji Horiguchi is going to have a speed advantage. He's going to be better on the ground. He scrambles way better. He knows how to get out of tough positions. He knows how to hold top control if he needs to. He's so much more quick and powerful on the feet. It's not close. I don't know how the Amir Albazi's in the rankings. Moving on. Main event time, it is Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. I'm going to take Mario Bautista. I used to be pretty high on Vinicius Oliveira, but after that last fight, I don't even know where to begin on how sloppy he looked. The case used to be that he would throw in a lot. He would throw in high volume and he would push you back against the fence and he would get you tired and then he would get a finish late, which he did against Sopai, obviously with the flying knee. He was trying to do the same thing against, I think it was Kyler Phillips in his last fight, which was the sloppy one. And then same kind of went for Said Nurmagomedov, where he kind of just overwhelmed him. That's not going to work against Mario Bautista. This is like a nightmare matchup, I think, for Vinicius Oliveira. I think that Mario Bautista is, for one, he always has a cardio advantage over his opponent. Always. Every single fight. Like, he's as annoying and as big of a hatred that I have for this guy. He is very fundamentally sound and he always has a cardio advantage over his opponent. If you're sloppy and you're just trying to run him down and get him tired, that's not gonna work. Mario Bautista knows how to win fights. He knows if he does have to hold you against the cage, he's gonna hold you against the cage like he did to Jose Aldo. If he can pick you apart with the same combination over and over like he did against Patchy Mix, he's gonna pick you apart with the same combination over and over and over. If he knows that he just has to like weather the storm and throw a jab here and there and keep you at bay, he's gonna do that. Vinicius Oliveira in his last fight just kept spamming the overhands over and over and over and over and over. That's not gonna work, bro. I'm sorry. Like, Mario Bautista actually looked good against Umar Nurmagomedov. He was able to time the knee up really well. He was able to land shots on the back foot. He was able to counter grapple actually at a pretty high rate too. I think this is just a nightmare matchup for Vinicius Oliveira. I think that if he gets matched up with anybody else around this spot in the rankings, I think he actually does pretty decent. But Bautista knows how to win fights. And as much as I hate saying that, it's true. Too one-dimensional for Vinicius Oliveira. I think you need to really have like an X factor in order to beat Mario Bautista. Like with Umar, it was the grappling. Even with Jose Aldo, now that I think about it, Jose Aldo was eating him up on the feet with the body kicks. You really need to have that one thing that you can rely on. And with Oliveira, there's no technical thing that he can rely on. It's literally just like try and brute his way out of there with like some like freakish, like he's kind of just like a Walmart Yuri Prohaska. That's not the best comparison, but that's kind of what it is. Vinicius Oliveira, too easily hit, too predictable, too one-dimensional. Bautista is like he's like a hateable Tim Duncan. So fundamentally, he's really sound, and he'll probably get this one done 50-45, 49-46. Yeah, that is it for this card. The card absolutely blows, but we're gonna watch it anyways. So appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe per usual. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.